My name is Zeba Kazi. I'm a resident of Belgaum district in Karnataka. I'm pursuing my engineering in the Keli College of Engineering and Technology. I feel I'm a simple girl having big dreams. What sets me apart is my sensitivity, I feel, because whatever it is, I feel sensitive towards all the happenings around. It's been since schooling, wherein being a Josephite of a convent school, the day began with moral science, learning values, etiquettes, and at home it was my mom adding more of life and value-based education. So it's all about that which connected me all throughout the life, being very protective into that environment. And that's where I felt people are like me. When I stepped into the 11th standard, then I realized people are very different. Not the same, but I have to stand out of the crowd and decide what is for me and what not. And that's where I joined in LEAD. I began taking up a project, and my first thought was maybe it would be a social cause that I would work for. When I realized that it was the people that I wanted to reach out to, the nearest I found was the old age home in my locality. I found that it was a single woman who looked after that old age home with the pension that she got. And in the world today, that pension isn't enough to be looking after so many people who are handicapped, diseased. You need a doctor all the time, the facilities. It isn't easy. So I decided I would help for that cause. They had a cook employed, but the utensils required. There was water supply, but no storage facility. With my team members, we were 5 together. We went down to the steel centers in the city. We actually asked them to give anything that would be helpful for the old age home. I demanded it need not be new stuff. There would be damaged pieces which the customer wouldn't buy, but that is helpful for the purpose of cooking in the old age home. And then there were few generous people who readily gave, the few others who just shut their doors onto our faces. And there was more learning that people are really not the same. But I was determined that I have decided to help these people, and yeah, I'm reaching out. 2 weeks we spent in the city, and then finally it was one evening that we actually went to the old age home, and they all received us with so much happiness. It was the second time after studying and then coming down to them with all what they needed. They were so happy, received us, we served them juice. That evening it was so very helpful for them and for ourselves because we brought in so much joy. I had bought some spiritual books, and there was a man who really appreciated that gesture of ours of presenting the spiritual books. He said, "You brought me more closer to God as I can spend more time reading it." And not having seen my grandfathers, so it was two very emotional moments that added to my life. And there were 2 grannies who said, "You all are like our grandchildren, stay down with us." So there was time spent consoling them. As the ma'am who looked after couldn't make it that evening, a few days later she sent a letter to my college that said, "You people have done a great job. There are people coming down to us, but people like you are very few." It was so glad receiving it. I felt more boosted, and then I was like, yes, when I've reached out to one old age home, there may be many more needy people. For that, I don't want to get and give. Instead, I want to stand on my own feet, wherein I earn lots and then invest into all this which would make me happier. I feel if one individual reaches out to another, you're adding value to yourself, and the cause for which you wish to help that person is also done and make them happier. At the Yuva Summit, when I stood amongst the best people like Mr. Ratan Tata, Narayan Murthy, Sudha Murthy, and our founder Guru Raj Deshpande, I felt it was a moment of history in my life. I want to share what I personally feel and follow in my life. Life is not a rehearsal, it's the main event. I say do your best and the Almighty will do the rest.